gone.
Hmm?
I'm still trying to make sense of it.
So, what, on the steps, what caused you to, because, moments before,
Hi.
you were doing pretty good. You were pretty happy.
That was good.
Yeah. But then, all of a sudden, what were you thinking?
I just got, I don't know. I rationalized, I don't know, I rationalized wrong what I thought. I got depressed last night before I went to sleep. I thought I was gonna die. And then I thought again and thought it'd be better to stay alive.
Mm-hmm.
Like I rationalized for sure, I guess it'd be better to die.
Why would it be
And
better
I
to
thought
die?
me and all my kids would probably end up going to heaven if I died. Like after I died,
Mm-hmm.
they'd probably die kind of young because they wouldn't want to go on living without me.
Mm-hmm.
And it used to be really sad to think about that.
Yeah, but they're alive now.
But it's
And
but
they're
it's been
without
so
you.
many years of this that
Right.
it's not even as sad. And I thought, they'd probably get into heaven because they're pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I might get into heaven
Right.
because I think I'm good.
Right.
So that's a pretty good deal for us to die and
So
get into heaven, maybe.
So
Likely get into heaven. So I thought, well, maybe I'll just kill myself and die. And then,
so if you killed yourself, why would you go to heaven?
because I've been a pretty good person.
But isn't killing yourself the
And
number
when I
one
was-
mortal sin in the Bible that you say is the
No.
holy book?
And when I was more sinful,
can
I
you
made up
pick
for
and
it.
choose?
I repented.
Can
I
you-
suffered. It was awful. Years of suffering.
suffered, that is for sure.
And so,
You are the modern day Job.
no.
Yes, you are. Come on.
Anyway, so what was the
Job's
question you asked?
Job's initials is JB. Did you know that? When you look into biblical text,
What was Job like? Oh,
Job was like you. He was God's chosen one. He was the best guy.
I'm not that good.
He was,
I'm
always
a regular
following the,
man. I'm a regular.
Well, so
man.
is
I
Job.
mess up too.
Job was the.
I sin. Sometimes I really messed up when I got angry. I thought I hope that person's dead. I thought that. I said that one time in my thoughts. I
Mhm.
said it out loud when I really couldn't take it anymore. And then I said, I hope they're dead when they're really old, like we all die. We're all gonna die. I hope I'm dead. See, it's okay. It's not making me die. I
Right.
hope we're all gonna die. We're supposed to die at some time. So live like some Illuminati kept genetically alive or something.
Mhm.
And I really tried to make it up for it, and I felt really bad that I said that. And I prayed that the person be okay, and I hope they're okay and stuff. But I did stuff like that when I got really angry at someone.
Mhm. And what would cause you to get angry at them? Like your parents.
Not my parents.
Why do you
years
get
ago
angry
I
at
did get angry at my dad.
Right.
And I really had to get to work. It was like a coming of age, and I had to work at his kind of stuff,
Mhm.
no matter how I felt.
Mhm.
12 hours a day, every day,
Why did you have
with
to?
no days off.
Why did you have to?
Because it was like a matter of survival. And I just had to for some reason.
You really didn't.
I think I had to.
You made yourself.
I was
You
afraid of
made
being
yourself.
incapacitated in a bed. Like
You
if I
were the
didn't-
one who made yourself. You know? I mean, here you are up here in your house, this beautiful castle, this amazing. I mean, this is a one in a million place. You know,
Right.
and you
Yeah,
did.
my dad even said that about this place. He said it's one in a million or millions.
Right.
There's probably no place like it in the entire nation.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it may not be brand new.
Exactly. It's a piece of art. you know?
But it's kind of brand new. It looks kind of brand new. It looks good when it's clean.
Well,
It
you
looks,
you made
it
it
looks pretty good.
spick and span, that's for sure.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yes.
It's hard to imagine that I did so much work to it that it actually looks that good. Okay.
There you go, buddy.
Oh, thanks. I don't want to be so kind and godly and Jesus like, because I'm a sinner. Then I mess up and go, F you, man. I hope you did. Not you, though. Not about you, but I'm not like the best examples of good people in the Bible.
Yes, you are, John. You
I don't
are.
know.
You are. You are Job. You really are.
Maybe I am.
You
They
have,
weren't
you
even
have
that
the
good.
same
They
name.
weren't. Maybe they weren't even.
In
that good.
biblical text, they, you know, when you look them up in one of those theological books, he is denoted as JB. And there's actually a place.
But I'm not him. He's a different person. He was back then.
But we are all, you know, metaphors. You know, human beings are kind of like Mr. Potato Head. You know, with only so many types of character traits. And as our friend said, you are the people's saint of truth. And you really are, because every time you go off, you are talking about truth. You know, that's what upsets you, you know, all the things you go on and on about. It's a matter of truth. And you are the people's saint of truth. And what is a saint? A saint is someone who is basically possessed by God's love. Instead of being possessed by a demon, you're possessed by God's love.
Oh, cool.
And so that's what a saint is, right? And a demon is someone who's possessed, you know, by the negative forces.
No, I'm a regular man.
Well, we're all regular humans. We are, you know, we are on this earth. We're in this body. We are of the lower vibration, but you are striving for the upper vibration, right? And when you get upset, it's because you know, you get upset with yourself. You get upset. I mean, you have physically a really.
I've done a lot of God's work, a tremendous amount of God's work when I was younger. And I was afraid to do it again. That's why I was just like afraid to do something like that. Or maybe that's bad.
No, it's not
I
bad.
don't know.
It is what it is. Well, you gobbled those boys up. Give me some more.
I'm big. I'm a big. That's why he's so big. Al Bob makes him all that food. He's really big. Big and fat and strong. Big strong. No, I'm not fat. No. I don't know. I got happy when I got to eat more food. I think I really wanted to eat food.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Okay. Thanks. Wow, thanks. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks. His young hand. Al Bob. They call his young hand.
Look at those young hands, you know. And
Because I was thinking that if somebody was really old, they'd
look
have
at it. Wrinkly
Well-
hands. Look at that.
You're just fortunate. You don't have old hands. You have young hands.
Yeah.
Well, they look young.
They look.
I don't know how they feel. Maybe they feel good too.
Yeah, they're okay. I mean, they have their moments when they're. Because I got arthritis everywhere. But I exercise, I pray, I meditate, I do my qigong, like we did outside.
But I was thinking something. I think they do plastic surgery on hands. They can.
I mean, they do plastic surgery on everything, John. They do plastic surgery on everything. So I go to this place that does, they mostly do eye surgery, right? But they do, meaning they do plastic surgery around the eyes, right? Like, look at my eyes, see?
Yeah.
They're kind of beaten. The oldest thing I have
In
is my eyes.
Danica's family, they do. Well, there are people who did a blepharoplasty.
Right.
That was only a couple people in her family. We were pretty close to her a blepharoplasty, and it looks real. It looks really real.
Yeah.
All they do is they take the fat out from under the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
They take a little fat out. It doesn't leave a scar.
Right.
There's no scar, and then it looks younger.
It's like liposuction.
Yeah, I think they did it in their 50s and 60s.
Right.
And it made their eyes look young.
Yep.
And not fake. Not at all fake.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all fake. It's called a blepharoplasty.
Yeah, I know what
It's
it is.
it's the bags under the eyes. They
Yep.
take the fat out of it.
Yep.
And she was worried about it.
Why was she worried about it?
She thought it looked bad, but then thinking that it looked bad, it made it look worse. She was convinced it looked so bad, and she
You mean her?
she put that
looked
forth.
so bad.
Yeah, like she put that forth where, like everywhere she was walking around, and not put that forth, but like she focused on that and like put it into the light when she was thinking about it. She put it into the light like
Mhm.
under her eyes, and like it made it look worse. Before that, I never noticed it, and so like my parents never got plastic surgery,
Right.
but my mom. Oh, if I had my phone here, I'd show you a picture of her.
Mm-hmm.
2 days ago or yesterday at a
Mhm.
birthday party. At that kid's birthday party. And she looked young, her face looked young.
Yeah,
It
well,
was
your
a great
mom's of a
picture.
young spirit, that's for sure. Your mom definitely got a young spirit.
For her age.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Oh yeah,
that's
she's young.
who she
Yeah, her
is.
spirit, oh yeah.
That's who she is, you know. That is who she is.
I think I can't imagine how she'd die before like 90 something. She looked so young and so healthy.
Yep, she's doing good.
And she walks around,
Yep.
she could probably run. She dances. She doesn't like to run. She never really ran. But she can dance.
And she's a walker.
She does gardening and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she doesn't have any issues with getting around with her legs. I think she doesn't. I think she doesn't.
No, she
But
doesn't.
she's her age.
Well, we're all
She
right.
has like she may have. You know, I worry about them sometimes at their age. Wow. What did you make?
I'm making your vegan thing over here and
Cool.
chicken over here.
The vegan thing.
Yep, I'm making the vegan thing.
I just didn't feel like chicken because those chickens were walking around outside.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And I was nice to them.
Right.
And I thought they resembled people I know in my life.
Well, they do.
So I didn't want to eat the chicken.
You don't have to. I'm making you a special New Year's vegan meal.
Like I got the feeling there were people close to me who were chickens. But it was like saying that we were like, that's kind of how we were for not doing more of the things we should, that they're really good.
Right.
Like for God and Jesus stuff.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like we were chickens and there are just as many chickens as us.
Right, pretty much. Maybe more. Who knows?
And then, so I didn't want to eat chickens, I didn't want to eat eggs, because when I was looking at them, I was thinking,
What's
I
a
asked
baby
the chickens. I said, what do you do with your eggs? Do babies come out? Do the babies hatch out of them, or do you eat? Is it okay to eat them sometimes when they're not a baby? And I looked at him and just. And then so I didn't want to eat the eggs after that,
Mm-hmm.
or the chicken. That was the only thing I didn't want to eat. I could eat maybe sausage or something, but I don't really want to eat it as much.
Mm-hmm.
But and I don't want to eat those ribs because that reminded me of like a baby pig.
Yep.
Oh, you put it right on the vegan stuff.
No, it's just the potatoes.
What is it?
Potatoes.
The meat?
The meat's not in it.
I don't know if I want to eat it.
Then you don't have to eat it.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to eat it. It's fine. Don't eat it.
Okay.
You don't have to eat it.
Yeah, little fag vegan. No protein for you. No protein for him. We'll make sure of it.
Well, I put cheese in there, so there's cheese.
Yeah. Is it real cheese or cream cheese?
Cream cheese.
How much protein does a cream cheese have? I have to look at that.
Let's see.
I'll drink milk with it.
Right.
I'll be my stupid vegan self. I'll have whatever. Hope it's not cashew milk.
Yeah. I like that.
Someone's called it, well, it's almond and cashew milk, but I think everyone knows that almond milk doesn't really have that much protein. So I had to get cashew milk.
Mm.
It's 10 grams of protein.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a miracle to get to eat this. And I just couldn't have the milk because the phone's leaning on it. This shirt looks like yo, man. Yo. I don't know what it looks like. I'm looking for a
Why don't you wash up some of those dishes?
wait, I'm trying to drink some milk protein.
Okay.
Well, it's from a plant. It's not like they call it nut milk. Nut. Because it's actually vegan. It's actually from a plant, not like the fucking bodily fluids and sweat and blood and all those things that come out of the animal's body. Out of an animal's body and its dead body. No matter what they call it, it's really from a plant. It can't be that gross. That's how I look at it. I don't know if somebody's gonna really be pissed off at it now. I hope not. Cause meat's not that bad. Maybe meat's not that bad. Cause in the Bible it says meat's okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have you ever read Gilgamesh? The story of Gilgamesh? It's in the Bible.
I don't know.
It's in the Bible. You read the Bible, you would have read the story of Gilgamesh.
It must be in the Old Testament. Is it in the Old Testament?
Old Testament, yeah. He's the first king. You know, the big line of kings? You know, there's a part in Old Testament called Kings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not getting enough nutrients unless you get animal products. That's how we'll make it for you.
Yeah. What is it?
is a blessing to get to.
Mm-hmm. It is.
I feel like it's not even really allowed to have the pasture milk.
Why?
You know, this company's a milk and dairy meat industry conglomerate factory farm company.
Uh-huh.
That's all they have is something like this. Tastes like it's missing something. Of course, that's all they allow of it. My own vegan thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
When I was an ethical vegan,
What is ethical vegan?
they're vegan for reasons like moral reasons, because they think it's wrong to hurt the animals.
Mm-hmm.
But and that's not how the Bible says it is. The Bible says it's okay to eat meat. So I don't. Sometimes I don't feel like eating it. That's just how I am.
Well,
Some
then
people are
then
different.
don't eat
One
it.
personality, one people. Sometimes I don't like it, but then sometimes I eat it.
Mm-hmm.
Can't really be a vegan from Roanoke, Virginia.
Sure you can. They're both
Not as a
vegan.
man.
There's both of
It's-
vegans.
yeah, I think it's not
There are Facebook things of vegans from Roanoke, Virginia.
Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but as soon as I moved here, I had to start eating cheese and eggs.
I know a ton of vegans. I mean, a lot of the people who are at the co-op are vegans. But I have a lot of friends who are vegans.
Oh, for a short time as a phase.
No, I mean, they whole life. I have 20 friends in Roanoke who have been vegans since they were teenagers, and they're in their 70s.
I have to see who they really are and really talk to them and see if that's true.
Okay, good. You know, you don't have to
I
believe.
can't imagine.
Again, as I always say, don't believe a word I say. You know, don't believe it. Is anybody there?
Whatever. I'll eat meat to go along with it, as long as they don't lock, as long as they don't.
Anyone chatting?
As long as they don't get me.
Well, don't get you. No one's out to get you, John. They're too concerned with their own friggin'
The way this
life.
tastes,
Hmm?
like it's lacking in nutrients.
Mm-hmm.
There's something it's missing, and maybe they did some funny fucking thing to it to take the nutrients out of your body.
Right. Here.
And it's because it's a factory on company.
There you go. You can
This
use.
is the only real protein they allow in a drink like that. Milk.
You
It's
can
the
go.
only real protein they
Let's
allow
see.
at those kind of stores
Uh,
for something like that.
what the heck is this?
The rest of them, they try to fuck them up and make them eat one.
Happy
way
New
or
Year.
another.
Morning, guys. Oh, there's. What'd you say his name? Jebber what?
Talking too much, John. You're never talking too much, you might as well be one, John.
Anyway. Of course, he didn't do dishes or anything, you know. Anyway, good morning. So there you go. That was a good, nice 24 minutes of breakfast with Al and John. And what did you think of that? What did you think of that? What did you think of here it is, the first day. What do you guys, you guys there, Mr. Jabber, what are you going to do for 2022? Are you going to be consciously intent, consciously aware, focusing on being your better self and doing your best in service to love's co-creation? Are you going to do that? What are you going to do? Happy New Year. I will give it my best. That is it. That's all you can do. Give it your best. You're not perfect. You don't have to be perfect. People set walls up, obstacles up. They say, well, I'm going to do this. And then they go, oh, I'm a failure because I'm not perfect. No, you got to do your best. All you got to do. And you got into that state where you do your best, it starts to come natural. You don't think of the monsters. You don't think of the nasty stuff. You don't become possessed. You can either be possessed by love because you're in service to love's co-creation, or you can be possessed by ego. And, that's the devil. I don't talk in those terms, right? Because when you theologically go in deep into religion, that's why Gilgamesh is important, because it is the first text of the King James. Whatever became the Bible, it started with Gilgamesh. And people ignore it. And they found his place in, I was saying this morning, they found his place, Gilgamesh's castle, in Iraq. All the holy spots are in Iraq. The old, right? The Temple Mount, Jerusalem, the box, and the other sites in Saudi Arabia, but the old was along the Jordan, the Euphrates River. And very interesting. Carl Sagan, his only novel was Contact, and they made it into a movie, right? And they're like listening, radio telescopes, listening for a conscious, a signal sent with thought, right? Not just background radiation. And I found in the movie a signal that was repetitive signal. And it was prime numbers, basic of physics, science, everything, right? And so that was being sent out. Hey guys, here we are, smart people, and all we're sending out is television. So and so in the movie, these guys were 30 light years away. The thing they got from us, the first signal that went out there in microwave was the Nazi television show of the Olympics. And, the Nazis had TV in the early 30s, the whole country, because it was a, propaganda tool. And it was right in people's houses. You might have been rich to have it, but it was all over the country, right? And they had color TV. They had color TV in the 30s. We didn't get it till the 60s, Well, the guy's 30 years away. Gonna get the Nazis, so they send it back, in the prime number. there's a carrier underneath, the guy who was blind who could hear. And, I tried to show John that, I said, here, be quiet. What comes in, like, what do you hear? What do you hear? The only thing you can really hear is the refrigerator. Right? And when you let go of everything, and that's why people use a metronome to meditate, they use a singular sound to, like, take all the strenuous stuff away. And then what do you hear? He goes, you heard what he said, you're a faggot, and end, finish. Anyway, so he's getting all this negative juice into his head, and of course, it's not coming from the devil, it's not coming from anything. If there is an extraneous force affecting us, it's the ELF of the, microwave towers, the cell towers. We're in a wash of ELF, or, our Wi-Fi, our routers, our computers. I sleep with this phone. Sometimes I'd be listening to stuff and fall asleep, and I have the electric heater going. So I wasn't live before. Anyway. So John just came down here, and he didn't make anything. All he did is look in there and see if there's like, some candy bars you can eat. And there weren't. It's just vegetables and cheese and things of that nature. And so he was like, oh. I'll give it my best. Thank you, Jared. Jabber Jones. And that's what this sounded like. That would be a good name of this place, Jabber Jones. Anyway, so I think that's it. I think I'm gonna go. Unless anyone wants to say anything more. Thank you, Mr. Jabber Jones, for commenting. Love you all. Let's jump in. Now that I can use my phone like this, bye out. Have a good first day of the year. And I'm feeling, Jabber, this is going to be the best year of your life. Because you are going to do everything consciously. Let's chat soon. Okay. Again, anybody wants to chat with me, go to my email, the dudeawake42 at gmail. Dudeawake42 at gmail. Okay? I'm going to go check it later, now. I'm going to clean up all the dishes. I've been making John food now for a week. I really haven't cleaned the dish. I think you heard me. Hey, how about cleaning the dishes? How about cleaning the dishes? How about cleaning, And, I said, here, why don't you help me with the onions? You want this vegan meal? And, he could barely, he didn't take the outside skin off. Right? And then he started cutting it. He didn't cut it all the way through. And I gave him a really sharp knife, a really good knife to cut onions with. And that's because he is so focused. Again, he is the people's saint of truth because he is reflecting beyond belief exactly what the powers that shouldn't be, the hidden hand, the high table, is manifesting. All of this stuff that's happened the last 2 years, all this stuff that happened since Jack Kennedy got shot, all this stuff that happened since 1947 when we went into the national military state, all of it that happened since, the Spanish Civil War when we became an imperial power and we took half the frigging nation. We took a big slice of Mexico with the Mexican War. We took all of California, Texas, everything below, I would say about a fifth of what Mexico was. We just took it. And it wasn't like a border skirmish that those people who were died at the element. No, no. We forced that on the Mexicans, just like in Japan. We cut and we made them a major industrial nation, and then we cut off all their fuel. And they were like, to force them. So what they had to do? They had to go into Indochina. They had to go into China to get the resources that they needed. They couldn't do it through commerce. They did it like what England, France, Germany, United States does. Just goes in and takes it, imperial. But no, can't do that. And now China is trying to just be a better America. And we're saying, oh no, they have one aircraft carrier that can't even launch aircraft that have missiles on it. They're not a threat. Now, with our hubris, if we go plowing around like we are, we will put ourselves in a bad position where then we can get trounced. They have certain weapons. They have mass-produced a jet aircraft comparable to the F-16. Well, the F-16 is a 40-year-old aircraft, or 50, because it was really designed in the latter 50s and early 60s, so it's almost a 50-year-old aircraft. So the Chinese have, because the Chinese doesn't have the, what do you mean call it? They have to appropriate their technology. They want to be number one in AI. Sorry. And people who are the number one in super duper high technology, Japanese, because they learned they lost the Second World War, so they learned instead of putting their money into the military, but they have a military that could definitely defend itself. They have like their seventh best. They have the fifth best Navy in the world and the seventh largest. They could probably kick China's butt, right? But like I said, if we go into China's backyard, right along their coast, where they have, 20,000 jet fighter bombers that can, that are comparable to F-16s, and and they have, land to sea anti sea missiles, so they could definitely take out our carriers, or make a mess of it. That's for sure. If we put ourselves, in a place where we can't really get away, but if we went into their, the Sea of China in that dispute, if we went into Taiwan, hypersonic missiles. But we developed hypersonic missiles in 1949, and they have their own limitations, right? So the Chinese missiles have those same. That's why we didn't follow that. We've had hypersonic missiles. We have missiles that we can launch from ships, submarines, land, and aircraft that are regular missiles, or cruise missiles. Right? They take off. They cruise for 300, 400, 500 miles, 1,000 miles. And they're called standoff missiles. And then when they're like within 50 to 100 miles of their target, there's another missile in front of that cruise missile that's an air-breathing thing, and it's cruise. They have air-breathing cruise missiles that can do, close to Mach 2. That's pretty fast, and they can move, And then they get, right on beat. The warhead is locked, and then they launch the warhead, and it's hypersonic. So from 100 miles to the target, it's going like Mach 7, which is really hard to hit. And it can move. So it's not like a ballistic missile where you can, put it into a computer and then track wherever that thing is, where it is. So you can shoot something where it's going to be. And that's what Star Wars does. It takes out, ballistic missiles. And that's what, Israel's Iron Dome does. Because basically, the Palestinians, they don't have nothing sophisticated. They have a lot of mortars that can shoot 20 to 60 miles, right? And once they're launched, they have radar that sees them being launched. And then they got supercomputers that just
go bing, 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 bing. And so they know that thing is going to be right here in about 20 seconds. So they launch something, bang. So that's why their Iron Dome knocks down about 98% of everything. 2% kind of get in. And so, but we spend, we spend over $700 billion on defense every year, right? And that's just what's on the books. We spend on the black projects and special action programs close to another $700 billion. That's why we don't have health care. That's why we're kind of going bankrupt. I mean, this is what every empire, Rome, Greece, Crete, Babylon, Spain, England, the Dutch, every empire overexpanded outside their territory and overspent on the military, and then they collapsed on the center because they couldn't, and that's what's happening here. We're, to shore up the center, we're bringing in, authoritarianism. Go watch Jimmy Dore, and go watch, Awakening with JP, and JP is, he's pretty. I mean, they're both amazing, right? But JP really, gets under the claw and then is unbelievably sarcastic. Right? He's like the Wile E. Coyote of present time. So he was talking about New York State on January 5th is going. Their state legislature are going to vote on a law which will give the state the power to go out and just pick people up off the street, out of their house. No crime being broken, no law, no courts, no judges, no juries, no Fourth Amendment, and it's like illegal rendition, and the CIA has been doing that for the last 50 years. And now they're bringing it home. So everything that we've done around the world, we're going to bring home. We're going to have, reapers, shooting, Maverick missiles, at soccer moms' vans, they're bringing that on this year, January 5th, right? California has lost it. And, whenever political folk start using words, like a good example is no child left behind. And that automatically meant every child was going to be left behind. War on drugs, meaning drugs are going to be brought in and it's going to be a war on the people. Because in the 60s, when I went to my draft board caught up with me, and instead of like sitting in the hallway in my underpants, I do that on purpose. I want everyone in their underpants to, break them down. When you're in basic training, all they do is destroy who you are and rebuild you into a mindless killing machine. And we see Full Metal Jacket. That movie is freaking believable because it really shows that, right? So that's where we're at, kids. And 2022 is like, which way are you going to go? We're going to be making it or breaking it, right? So, and the internet, I'm on the YouTube. There's a billion people out there doing great YouTubes. Mr. Jibber Jabber there. I mean, that's all I am, a Jibber Jabber boy, And so 2022 is our opportunity to step up and do our best. You don't have to be perfect. Just do, and everything you do, every person you talk to. Like yesterday, everyone's going nuts. Bye, right? And every place I was, like Jocelyn, I mean, there were these two fat ladies. I'm, I'm really what you would call disabled, but I don't let myself be that. Meaning, I didn't let them chop my legs off. I didn't let, didn't was satisfied walking around with metal clamps on my legs from my big toe to my hips, walking with a walker. No, I lost 240 pounds, and I, you know, I'll show you this. Right? You should do this. This is the basis of what is known as Tai Chi or Qigong. So what I do, so right here, I'm not wearing any baggy shirt. It's all me, right? So I was out to here, right? And this is the exercise I do because when I wake up, I'm in unbelievable pain. And if my early morning show went up and you see it, you see me. And I can't even move. I have to meditate. I have to, so, but anyway, you do this. You put your feet right balanced with each other, right? And right under your hip bones, right? Then you kind of sit down there, like you're going to sit in a chair. You're being a golden thread that runs from your base chakra all through your other chakras, all the way up to your higher chakras, the 6 and above, all the way up to heaven. How are we doing here? I'm going to turn this stuff down a little bit. The secret to cooking is don't burn it. So, there we are, do this, and then you raise your hands like this. And it's like an orgone accumulator, right? Wilhelm Reich, go read about Wilhelm Reich and the orgone accumulator. He developed this technology following ancient texts and Nikola Tesla. And just by making a box out of cardboard and metal, well, you could use wool and metal, copper screen, make a little box that you put a chair in, you sit in it, it'll cure you of everything, right? And because it worked so well, and he was, he had more PhDs, he had more degrees on the thermometer, they really couldn't attack him, and scientifically had really good data. And he didn't do anything against the law, but the AMA just said, we can't have this guy. So they made a specific law for him, arrested him, put him in Lewisburg Penitentiary, and then they made a law specifically for all his literature and said if you had it, that was treason to America. And you went to jail for 50 years. Yay, America. That was in the 1950s. So he developed a way that everyone could be, and all you had to do is sit in this box for 20 minutes and it would cure anything, right? So, and all of these crystal beds that are there do the same thing, but not as good as Wilhelm Reich's orgone box. So go look it up, go build some. Everyone listening, it's made out of cardboard or, and, paper and aluminum foil, not very expensive. And then you quiet yourself down. And you go into state. When you go into state, and something like John, all these thoughts come through his head. You just listen to that one thing that you can hear, the bird cheeping, the refrigerator humming, whatever it is. I'm listening to the pans behind me bubbling, right? And they're bubbling happily rather than bubbling, I'm going to burn up. So what do? I sweep with my right hand, and I step with my right leg, right? And I lift the chi up into my right, and I step forward to where both feet are equal, and then I again accumulate the chi. And I breathe in the prana. And that's all you do. Do that for about 5 minutes, you will be amazing. You'll be like, unbelievably, I'm feeling great. Anyway. So, not quite an hour. When we get to, 666, So, this is, and because we are no longer in the Piscean age, we are totally in the Aquarian age. We are now, our whole 5 and below and 6 and above is in the fifth dimension. Back in the 60s, mentioned it's the age of Aquarius, and they told the whole story. Go find the fifth dimension on your cell phone and play "It's the Age of Aquarius." It explains everything in the song, and they did the song in 1965 because 65 is when astrologically the age of Aquarius was coming in, but we were still full bore, having wars. Vietnam we had war in all Southeast Asia. Thailand, Cambodia. I mean, in Cambodia killed 6 million people. So, and those wars were about tourism, drugs, oil. And there's oil there they haven't really started to dig up. I mean, there's more oil on this planet than anywhere else. We're never going to run out of stuff because it's not made from dinosaurs. That's a Walt Disney cartoon. No. In 1891, they had this big whoop-de-doo thing because they realized everything that's happening, environmentally was going to happen. And yes, man has a certain effect, but humanity is like salt on a potato chip. Kind of tasty, a little zippy, not that good for you, but it's not going to kill, it's not like the big deal, right? Potato chip, they call it the potato chip, not the salt chip, And, in 1891, in Paris, they had this all the great scientists were there, the economic people, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Morgans, all those people were there. And we're like setting up, it was like going to Davos, it was like the Bilderbergs, right? And they were putting up their idea, for Big Daddy Global. Mr. Global is coming to town, right? And America was going to be the linchpin of that. Not the cornerstone, the linchpin, right? The bitch. And the bitch of Babylon, right? That's America. The bitch of Babylon, the whore of Babylon. That's the United States. We're not the bastion of democracy. Just look at our country right now. It would be Patriot Act 20 years ago. We got rid of the Constitution, but we did that before that. We got rid of the Constitution in 1871. It was no longer a republic. It was a corporate state, and we were no longer running by the Constitution. We were running by admiralty law. Right? Go Google that. There are a number of people who are big on this. There's this guy who's a big guy, and I used to see him at all the conferences. I forget his name. Him, Preston Nichols, and me were the biggest guys. I mean, big, like, whoa! We'd walk into we were like sumo wrestlers of the occult. We'd walk in the building. Oh my God! I mean, when I had a time when I was involved, and my nickname was Gorgo. Like in a respectful and sweet way, not like they were being mean. I was like, uh-oh, we better watch out. Here comes Gorgo. I was so big, if small people were around me, I would step on them and like, oh, what was that? Well, none of this is new. This has all been scripted. It's been foretold. Not in the Bible. That's a comic book. But in deeper and older text. And the Bible is just given to people to distract them. Mark said, religion is the the opiate of masses. Well, religion's not spirituality. Spirituality is you connected to love's co-creation. That's the spirit. Jesus kept saying, hey, you guys can do what I'm doing. I'm nothing special. I'm just here as my Father's son, as you are all our Father's children, right? Oh. And the Father, he didn't even use the male pronoun, He was talking about the great creator, the spirit. We're all spirits. We are all in spirit, right? Anyway, nobody's left. Thanks for 3 thumbs up. Come to me next time. I'll be in an hour or 2 or 3. I gotta clean, I gotta watch. I have to read, have to meditate, have to write. So I don't know what time it is now. It's probably about 10, give or take. I'll come back in the afternoon. And I'll have an evening one too. Okay? I love you guys. Talk to you later. Who's that? Who's that? Who's that number 1? Who that? You do it. Anyway. You don't want to speak up? Come on. Talk to you later, babe. Okay. Love you all.